and welcome to Matter of Fact, a podcast from the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center, where we report what matters. I'm your guest host, Sami Jordan. With support from the Scripps Howard Foundation, our center works to counter misinformation and strengthen truth-based journalism across communities in southeast Mississippi. Today's episode highlights a story out of Perry County, where a long-running summer program is marking a major milestone. For 20 years, an emotional management camp has worked with children facing trauma, offering tools to help them better understand and respond to their emotions. The program brings together educators, counselors, and community volunteers to support children who may be dealing with challenges at home, in school, or in their broader environments. In this episode, we'll take a closer look at how the camp operates, who it serves, and what 2 decades of this program reveal about the role of community-based support systems. We'll also hear from the reporter who covered the story and explore how local journalism helps bring attention to programs that often operate outside the spotlight. On Forest Lane Road in Beaumont, a summer program focused on emotional management is marking 20 years of working with children who have experienced trauma. Kamp Joy is designed to help children better understand and regulate their emotions. They serve participants who may be facing a range of challenges, including issues in their home life, behavior struggles in school, or exposure to stressful environments. The camp's organizer, Tina Brown, said the program came about during the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina.
Well, after Hurricane Katrina, one of my teachers at the University of Southern Miss, they was doing a story on how children recover after trauma and the devastating effect that the Katrina had. Because I remember it lasted for 8 hours. It was devastating for my children, my twins, and my son. And we stayed in our home, and as the trees were snapping, I was comforting my daughters and reassuring them of their safety. And afterwards, I started going out bringing food to the elderly. And she suggested me as one of the educators for them to pilot this program.
Brown says her passion for what she does now is one she's had since childhood.
At 13, I'm searching in my school, in my faith-based organization, in my community, in my home, why isn't anyone teaching me how to handle these emotions? Why isn't anyone helping me to identify them? I was very angry at 13 about my father committing suicide, and no one didn't have the language. It kind of stayed in me, and I observed behavior. And wherever I went, I observed behavior. So when Steve Gross was speaking, it was like he was speaking my language. I'm like, wow, I found my people. He began to speak about the emotional state. And it's like I already knew this stuff, and I wasn't aware of it. So I made the connection inside that training in Boston that day. And when I returned to Mississippi, I had to open up Kamp Joy.
Beginning a program like this comes with its challenges, but Brown says she rarely ever saw them as the end of the road, rather just as opportunities to pivot.
Starting Kamp Joy, the challenges were not at all challenges for me. We changed many buildings. We went to different churches. And when they decided that, okay, we're ready for you to go, I said, thank you for your time. I understand. So it's the way we look at it. I got told no a lot. And I understand that. And I didn't really know how to market. I have a degree in marketing, but I didn't know how to market the service that I provide.
Brown describes how Kamp Joy grew into a year-round service, emphasizing their core principles that still apply today.
It is a place for identifying what emotional state, and if you walk in feeling angry, you're safe. You can feel angry. It started that, and then during the pandemic, that's when it started a school. We operate from 8 to 2:30. ACE, Accelerated Christian Education, because the parents didn't want their children to return to school. They want them to stay here. But we've always traveled. If anyone calls us, we've went as far as to South Carolina, to Charleston, South Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia. We also have Kamp Joy for adults. And some people don't know how to identify what they're feeling, not to push it down. The more we push these emotions down, then it develops in something else, trauma.
For families involved in the program, the impact can extend beyond the camp itself. One former participant, Chastity Blakely Turner, told reporters she first experienced Kamp Joy as a child and later returned as both a volunteer and a parent.
I went through Kamp Joy, and when I was in college and when I had my son, I was also still volunteering and helping out, and then even employed by Kamp Joy. So when I would be there and I would have him, he was there with me, even as a small child. Before it became Kamp Joy, Miss Brown was basically running what she now calls Kamp Joy as like a little group for children out of her home. And we would go down there and she would have all kind of activities planned for us, and she would feed us, and we just would have a good time. And she would, try to teach us life skills then. But then as I think it was like around Katrina or after Katrina, that's when she started when she gave it the name Kamp Joy, because it seemed like everybody was going through so much at the time. And she reached out in so many ways, not just with materialistic things like water and food and stuff. She made a place for people to come and to try to find some joy, like in gaming or learning ways to cope emotionally and socially.
Through its 20 years, Kamp Joy has already served an array of families and students. Brown says she intends on expanding their reach in years to come to cater to different demographics of students.
Well, my vision for the next 20 years is to really work with students, a community that I feel that has been left out. I have a sister with some challenges. She's mildly challenged. She said, because there isn't enough places for people like me. She said, there's nothing for us. We're left out. So my vision is to incorporate those students with ADHD, ADD, autism, and work with them to feel a part of and to feel whole. Because that's a community, unless you're a mother and some special educators, many people don't really consider that community. And Kamp Joy don't want to leave out any individual, to let them know that joy is your superpower as well.
For communities like Perry County, Kamp Joy represents one approach to addressing the broader impacts of emotional instability. The story we just discussed was reported in part by RHCJC News reporter Bibhas Pantha. Bibhas joins us now for his first time on the podcast to talk about how this story came together and what he learned in the process. Bibhas, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Bibhas, throughout this reporting process, what were some of the most memorable moments you experienced?
Yeah, the most memorable moment for me definitely was the community involvement we had on the story, as this story is quite hard for a lot of people to talk about, especially the people we interviewed. And this was a new experience for us as well as reporters, for me specifically as a reporter, because this was a story we had to balance having emotions in as well as having factual information in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You just mentioned this is a deep topic. So how did you go about building trust with the sources that you interviewed, especially when discussing topics related to emotional health and personal experiences?
So trust goes both ways. So our sources can trust us, and that's also why we can trust our sources as well. And because of which we usually have our information vetted by multiple sources, and if all of them have similar information to share, then we can definitely trust the source that we have interviewed. And it's similar for people watching us as well. Like, they look at our links that we provide in our web articles or sources that we provide, and accept us as a trustable source.
Okay. And were there any challenges you faced while gathering interviews or observing the camp in action?
Yes, initially it was quite difficult to get parents to talk on this. We were looking around, as you will definitely not find parents or their kids' information just present online, or readily available, right? But as we went through Kamp Joy, as we interviewed Tina Brown, we got more information and got more contacts to vet the story with, and also actually find enough information to make it a sort of story.
Right. And while speaking to the organizers and participants, did that help shape your understanding of the program? If so, how?
Yeah, definitely. And the experiences from parents and how it has helped their kids improve on the mental health is also something we got to verify mostly, rather than anything. And since we talked to organizers, and we really got to see the difference that they have created in their community. And we also got to see the parents, hear the parents, and hear what they found out about, or the difference they saw in the kids after sending them to Kamp Joy.
And after doing this story, has it influenced the way that you approach community-centered reporting moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. It is, again, it is a deep topic. It is a tough story to do as well, especially involving kids. And it is a topic we had to take really politely, really with caution. And it has influenced in a certain way that makes us have a soft touch on whatever we are doing, however we are conducting our interviews, and or also building up a story. And yeah, it is something new that would definitely be implemented in further stories.
All right. Thank you so much, Bibhas. And thank you for spreading awareness on the programs serving our communities.
Thank you for having me.
Now it's time for What is True, our fact-checking segment where we break down common claims, talk about how to verify them, and give you tools to spot what's real. Joining us is Walker Scott, our What is True Media Literacy Coordinator. Walker is over our fact-checked investigations and leads the center's Ask Me What is True community media literacy trainings. Walker, why is it important to provide context when reporting on issues like childhood trauma?
As journalists, it's our responsibility to provide all the facts of a story. When simply looking at one aspect of childhood trauma, such as the cause or symptoms, it's easy to draw conclusions that don't portray the whole story. Media literacy keeps people from drawing conclusions before they know everything. Providing context helps explain the broader circumstances, whether that's family environment, access to resources, or community support systems, so people can better understand what's actually influencing a child's behavior or needs.
And how can fact-based reporting help audiences better understand the role of early intervention programs in communities?
Fact-based reporting centers the experiences of real people, taking into account negative and positive experiences. This kind of reporting assures that all sides and opinions are represented. It gives people a clearer picture of what early intervention actually looks like in practice.
And Walker, from a media literacy standpoint, why do stories about long-running community programs matter?
They provide insight into consistency and sustained impact, two things that aren't always visible in day-to-day news coverage. A program that's been around for 20 years suggests there's an ongoing need and continued community investment. These stories give people a chance to step back and look at the bigger picture of what's been happening over time, and that's a really important part of understanding any issue fully.
Thank you, Walker. That's What is True with Media Literacy Coordinator Walker Scott. You can learn more about the program or submit a question of your own at rhcjcnews.com/WITREQ or by calling 601-266-TRUE. That's 601-266-8783. That's all for this episode. Be sure to follow us on social media at RHCJC News to keep up with more stories just like this one. As always, thank you for listening and for spending time with us as we take you behind the scenes of the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center. I'm Sami Jordan, and this is Matter of Fact.